It's good. I like different.
No, I like paint.
Let's paint.
Very different.
I think what I see.
Very different. Very different.
What do you think this painting?
I'm not sure.
I say a painting of what?
Painting what?
A painting of what? A painting of what?
Very different.
Very different. Very different. Very different.
I hope y'all like that. That was Supplication by Roy the Chef. It's dangerous out here. I hope you guys make it home safe.
Why is she eating?
Because like, yeah, they just say,
She into astrology.
they just say eat for us. It's like, crazy.
She's just crazy.
Yeah,
No,
yeah.
she's manipulative. But he's saying
Yeah, I wouldn't say
Yo, check it out. You ain't worried about that.
they're gonna show you at the end.
So that once that knocking out that 1 minute, that's probably
Yo, what was that about? Don't worry about it. You wouldn't understand.
Most people just wear clothes, but some wear a message, a reminder of who we are and who we stand for. This isn't fast fashion, it's covenant, it's culture, it's identity, built with purpose, designed to last, created for those who refuse to blend in. When you step out, let your garments speak. Before you do, join the movement.
I'm wearing an Israelite's brand.
That's when I be yelling, I'm Jew by blood. Y'all dudes not us. And I don't believe in y'all, but in y'all I trust. I'm just a common coolie commandment keeper. I know it's hard to live righteously in the land of evil. They got you feeling like damaged goods around damaged people. And truly life is a movie, just can't demand a sequel. Verily, all you hypocrites, heresies, and Pharisees only fear God, so I know the devil's scared of me. They stole us from our land, they stole our land.
Comrie with a mouthful of gold and gold chains around our neck.
That's why they think of airing me, saying what God's saying, like a parakeet preparing for the
Stop the collection now before it sells out. Click the link below and secure yours today.
Welcome to Pillars of Rest, where you can find special material for our sisters, by our sisters. This is a Sons of Thunder exclusive platform focused on building, encouraging, uplifting, and engaging with the daughters of Zion. Here you'll find personalized and interactive content geared towards showing what it truly means to be a pillar of rest. Interviews, scripture breakdowns, tips on motherhood, marriage, and testimonials are just the beginning of the many things to learn from and enjoy in this program.
To a lower state, you must learn to be patient. You come to serve the Lord, prepare your soul for temptation. Who trust the young was misled in our past generations. No one forsaken, you mistaken if you ain't obeying. No lying on no tale bearing. Get thee behind me, Satan. That's my brother, no bloodshed. Get thee behind me, Satan. No idolatry, no
Yeah.
To wrestle against the evils of this world, because the scriptures say what? We wrestle not against flesh and blood, but against principalities and evil and wickedness in the high places, man. Right? That's what you're fighting against, man.
Why are fighting the evil powers? The bombs, the medicine, something to ease our spirits, something to ease our souls. Where's the medicine for our land? Where's the medicine for our people today? But we got it right here.
When you come into this truth, you gotta know what you're signing up for. That's why the scriptures say what? If you come to serve the Lord, prepare yourself for temptation. That's how you come to conquer that power. Right?
Right? That purges you, it makes you clean physically. But this is a great parable, but purges.
Live longer. We here for what we here for. What you here for? The story to tell. I don't know where my story gonna end, but if I wake up, I'll do it again. I just gotta live longer.
Shalom, shalom, Yasha'Allah, shalom. Welcome back to another Truth Tuesday. I'm your host, Captain Kaya Lawyer. Over today, we got the good soldier, Elon, with us today. All right, give it up for the beautiful camera that you see before you. Give it up for yourselves. Being back here for another Truth Tuesday. Maintain the spirit of the Lord. All praise to the Most High God. Perpetually. Come Yasha'Allah. Come Yasha'Allah. All praises, man. Right? So y'all back for another Truth Tuesday. All right? Right? We here for what we here for. Exactly. We here for what we here for. What are we here for? What are we here for? We here to serve the Lord, man.
That's right.
Right? We are here to serve the Lord day in and day out, in season and out of season. Right? Whether the people hear or forbear. Right? Our duty is to serve the Most High God. Right? You see that? Right? Shalom, everybody. Shalom. Brother Jamil, shalom. Sister Yolanda, shalom. SOT Baton Rouge in the building, shalom. Shalom, Sister Jazz, shalom. Soja Kayal, shalom. Kazak, shalom. Soja Yaraya, shalom. Abaya, shalom. Aliyah, shalom. Shalom. Who else we got in here? Sharaf, Shamar, shalom. Officer Yaz'Allah, shalom. King Soldier Awaria, shalom. Asaya, shalom, shalom. Captain Kwabza Allah, Captain Q, shalom. SOT Chicago. Cash Boy J Money, shalom. Face the East, shalom. Janae, shalom. Toya, shalom, shalom. Soldier Judah, shalom. Sister Yakanan, shalom. Captain Nayar, shalom, out there in Cincinnati. SOT Cincinnati, shalom. Pamela, shalom. Right? Azaziah, Shalom. That's I believe that's Captain Azaziah, right? Out there in New York. Got SOT New York. Ara'ah, Shalom. Brother Nick, Shalom. Officer Ashar Ya Allah, Shalom. Shalom, everybody. Glad to see my beautiful family here tonight. All right, we're gonna talk about some things, okay? All right, but before we get into the class, right? Y'all know how we do. Got a couple announcements to make. All right. First and foremost, make sure that y'all are keeping up with our feast day calendar. Okay, May 16th, this Saturday. This Saturday is the new moon. Now, unfortunately, we were unable to secure our usual spot for the new moon for this Saturday. All right, but we're figuring it out. I promise you that. All right, we're working on an alternate location. Okay, so just bear with us. Please still send in your email to sotfeastday@gmail.com if you wish to congregate with us so that we can inform you on where the location will be at, all right, where the feast will be held at, okay? We also have, we just had the feast assignment, right? We didn't congregate for that, but I pray that y'all recognize the feast assignment on May 9th, right? That just recently passed, all right? Another victory for the Israelites through the spirit and power of Yahweh, Hashem Mashiach Yahushua. All right. We got the Feast of Pentecost coming up May 30th. May 30th is the Feast of Pentecost, right? Or first fruits. Make sure you send your email to sotfeastday@gmail.com. All right. We already have a location secured for a Feast of First Fruits. So make sure you send your emails in, okay? For my brothers out there who want to do the work of the Lord, make sure you send an email to sotisraelites@gmail.com. Express your interest in joining the next prospect phase. All right. For my sisters out there, right, who want to do the work of the Lord, make sure you send an email to pillarsofrest@gmail.com and express interest in joining the next prospect phase. Okay. For my brothers and sisters who want to be a part of the body in some kind of way, right, but not have the same responsibilities as a soldier or as a pillar, send an email to sotisraelites@gmail.com and in the subject heading, put members rank, all right? Express that you would like to be a part of the members rank, all right? And we will, we'll reach out to you with further instruction, okay? Make sure that y'all are keeping up with the best spiritual edification on the planet. That is the Sons of Thunder Patreon. All right, we have the Captain's Corner, the feast days. Got behind the scenes exclusive access to different things. You get resources, exclusive camp videos, right? You get debates, you get the tribal fitness, and you get the Pillars of Rest. All right? Yo, I mean, I'm just saying that's a lot of great content. All right, that's a lot of great content for your spiritual health, all right, and also for your physical health. And I for one, believe that it will be of great benefit to you, all right, if you wish to support the body monetarily, check out our Patreon, all right. Make sure to still send in your emails for the scholars, right? We want to recognize the children for their greatness, for their hard work, all right. We want to recognize the children for their greatness and their hard work. Okay. Right. 1 second. Right. We want to recognize the children for their hard work. All right. These children aren't doing these things for absolutely no reason, man. We want to recognize them for the work that they put in, right? For the knowledge that they possess, all right, and for the effort that they put in. So make sure you send your email, all right, for our children, okay? For the SOT scholars. Make sure that you're keeping up with our live classes every Tuesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, All right, and Sunday night, we have live classes. Every Tuesday, we have Truth Tuesday, which are on right now. Conversation for the Nation every Thursday. Friday night Sabbath class every Friday night. And then you got the after hours immediately following. And then you got the bar for bar every Saturday morning. And you have Prove All Things on SOT Chicago channel every Sunday night at 8:45 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Okay? So make sure that you are tuning in to our free live classes, all right? Every week, consistently, okay? So all praise to the Most High God. Now, before we get into class, right, I want to give y'all some wisdom, okay? The wisdom is this. When the Most High God instructed Noah to build the ark, right? The Most High God instructed Noah to build the ark very specifically, right? He told him exactly how long it should be, how wide it should be, how high it should be, the type of wood to use, right? But one thing the Most High God did not instruct Noah to build on that ark was a way to navigate the ship. He didn't instruct Noah to build sails and, you know, a steering wheel, right? Or any type of rowing system or engine system to help navigate the ship, right? Now, if you think about it, that's a very terrifying thought, to have a massive vessel, right? To have a massive vessel out on the water, completely at the mercy of the water, because there's no way to navigate the ship. Well, that's the point. The point is that Noah was at the complete mercy of Yahweh. Noah was simply the passenger. Yahweh was the captain. Yahweh is the captain, right? And that's how our lives are. Our lives aren't our own. They belong to Yahweh. You don't own your life. Your life belongs to the Lord, and He's the captain, right? Yes, you have the wherewithal and the decision making to veer to the left hand or to the right hand, but ultimately Yahweh is the captain, right? He's the one who makes the final call on where you're going to end up at when it comes time of judgment, right? Always remember that. Yahweh is the captain of your life. And if you have that mindset that Yahweh is the captain of my life, then how should I be living my life? Exactly, the warrior. You're not going to find a verse of Noah doubting either. Noah wasn't running around the ship, you know, screaming, head turning in a 360, right? Worrying about how he's, you know, how is he going to navigate the ship? How is he going to find dry land? When the waves come, how is he going to steer into the waves? He wasn't worried about none of that because Yahweh had it covered. And that's how we need to approach our lives. Anything that, you know, presents itself as an obstacle in our lives, that's how we have to approach it. Yahweh has it covered. He's the captain. Right? And with that being said, right, that leads me into, you know, some unfortunate news that we received as a body. Our beloved brother, beloved captain, warrior Micah Allah, was sent home to the Lord. The Lord called our beloved brother home, sometime on Sunday. All right. And our beloved brother, Warrior Micah Allah, is at rest with his fathers who came before him. Okay? And to add on to that wisdom that I share with you, all right, I want y'all to hear some wise words from our beloved brother, Warrior Micah Allah. May he rise again. Akia, there's no sound, Ak. There's no sound.
You can't hear that?
Mm-mm.
I played it the same way.
No, you didn't take me.
There we go. All right, start.
And it just came to me. He said he was saving me for a purpose. And so that's my reflection on it. And I hope some of you...
I don't want to. I'm going to start it over.
Okay.
Younger brothers, they're not here. And then I started asking the Most High, why? How come I'm the only one out of my whole family that you didn't take me? And then it just came to me. He said he was saving me for a purpose. And so that's my reflection on it. And I hope some of you take this to heart. You know, you're going through your lives, things get hard for you. But you got to remember that the Most High is running the show. You do what he say, you can expect great things to come. So that's my reflection. I hope is, a lot of you take this to heart. When things go bad, just think of, man, it ain't gonna be bad like this all the time. Because we're his chosen children, and he works mysteriously. And we can't figure it out, but that's how it is with the Most High. He ain't gonna tell you what he gonna do. He just do it. You pray and you ask for stuff. Hopefully you ask for stuff that's not vain. Like, yeah, I like some hair. That's vanity, really. I'm all right. But that's my reflection. I hope you take this to heart. So with that, I'm gonna give all praises, honor, and glory to you. Howard. Hashem, Yahweh, Shalom. Shalom. Y'all take it easy.
All praise to the Most High.
All praise.
My God. All right. We will see our beloved brother again. Our beloved brother will rise again. It is of my opinion that the brother was righteous in the Most High God's sight. Right? The warrior Micah Allah wanted you to know that the Most High runs the show. That's what the warrior wanted you to know. The Most High is running the show. Right? And the warrior, if y'all didn't know, the warrior came into the truth, I want to say probably about 3-4 years ago. In his later age, right? In his elder age, he came into the truth. And he made sure to dedicate every ounce of his being to serving the Most High God. The brother lived in Jacksonville, Florida. New moon will be in Atlanta. On a Wednesday night, the brother will be the first one there every time. The brother went to camp consistently, diligently, showing up to every feast day, teaching the people, giving counsel, being a light in his community. He is a prime example of dedicating your all to serving the Most High God. And I believe that the Most High God smiles upon our brother's soul, and he is pleased. And if it be in the Lord's mercies, if it be in his will, may he say to our beloved brother, job well done, my good and faithful servant. May he say that to our brother. All right? I want to read the scripture real quick. All right? Give me the book of Romans chapter 14 and verse 8.
Another one. I'm there.
Go ahead.
This is the book of Romans chapter 14 and verse 8. For whether we live unto the Lord. And whether we die unto the Lord. Whether we live, therefore, or die, we are the Lord's.
The Most High God runs the show. That's what the warrior wanted you to understand. The Most High God runs the show. So whether we live unto Yahweh. You dedicate every single day to serving Yahweh. That's what the warrior did in his old age. No excuses. That's a senior man. That man was the eldest man, the oldest man in the camp. There's no excuse. He gave all of his life to serving the Lord. And whether we die unto the Lord. He died in this truth. He died in serving Yahweh by Hashem Yahweh Shah. Whether we live, therefore, or die, we are the Lord's. Your life is not your own. Yahweh is the captain of this ship. Yahweh is running the show. Always remember that. May the example of our beloved brother, warrior Mayaka Allah, may his example be seared into your mind to always and constantly, every single day, endure and strive for that mark of perfection. Strive for the master. All right? All praise to the Most High God. All praise to the Most High. Love that brother, man. I'm going to miss him. I really am.
Yes.
We miss our brother. Pleasant brother. Very, very loving brother, man. All right? Now, let's get into this lesson. All right? All right? Now, the scriptures, real quick, before we get into it, the scriptures do say, let tears fall down for the dead, right? And mourn. We're supposed to mourn, right? But I also want you to keep in mind that joy comes with this as well, right? And the joy is knowing the fact, because this is a fact, knowing the fact that our beloved brother died in serving the Most High God. What more honorable way and what better way to leave this earth, right, than to be serving the Most High God, the one true living God, all right? So he is to have an expected end, as the scriptures say, right? He should have an expected end, okay? So I hope that you all take solace in that fact, all right? And that our brother will wait all the days of his appointed time until his change comes, all right? Now, let's get into this lesson. What are we discussing tonight? Tonight, we are investigating the private prison system in the United States of America, right? If you examine this thumbnail, it's pretty obvious what we're trying to convey. Our brothers are being locked up, right? and mass incarcerated, all for profit, right? Not to rehabilitate them, because that's what, that's what the original design, that's what prisons are really supposed to be for. They're supposed to be rehabilitation camps, right? Getting you better, improving your mind so that you can re-enter civilized society, civilized, right? A better version of yourself. That's what the prison system is supposed to be doing. But instead, right, they're locking up our brothers in droves, all for profit, and exploiting them for slave labor. Oh, yes. Oh, yes. Right? So that's why you see here the trees are sprouting up into money trees, right? And our brothers are being led like a lamb to the slaughter into these private prisons, man. Esau must pay. There is no there's no hope for Esau. There's no hope for Esau. You got brothers trying to, save the heathen, trying to explain to you, how they didn't sell their soul, this, that, and the third. Okay, brother. All right, brother. Okay. All right. Just go save them. Go on your futile mission. Go. Right? It's okay. You didn't. All right. You didn't sell out or nothing. Okay. All right. You're okay. You still our brother, man. You still our brother. It's okay. All right. Go and save Esau. That's all right. Right? You're gonna be wasting your time, but have fun. Okay? But listen, man, Esau can't make it, man. He's too wicked. He is too wicked. Our elder says all the time, they have the golden opportunity to become the heroes of history, to become the heroes of the earth. Look, we saved the earth. We solved world hunger. We ended all wars, right? Education is free. All right. We've cleaned the environment. Animals that were once extinct or going extinct are now repopulating the earth. We've completely right our wrongs. Right?
Everyone, they could do everything.
We've restored that which we have stolen.
Right.
They have the opportunity to do that, but they will not do it because their spirit is not upright in them.
Right.
They're made crooked cannot be made straight.
That's right.
That's what the scriptures say. What has been made crooked cannot be made straight. There's a vessel to honor and there's a vessel to dishonor.
Right.
That verse, in its context, in its direct context, is specifically talking about Jacob and Esau. And who do they represent? Israel and the house of Esau.
That's right.
So who is that vessel to dishonor? The house of Edom. It's either Obadiah's prophecy is true or not.
Right.
It's either what Jeremiah said by the Spirit of the Lord in Jeremiah 49. Is that true or not? That they shall surely drink the dregs of the cup, because those whose punishment was not to drink, they drunk.
Mm-hmm.
And you think you're going to get away? Were those words true or was it hyperbole?
Right. I don't want to warrior said, did he lie?
Did he lie?
Did he lie?
Did he lie? Hey, you know what? Hey, you know what's funny though? The Most High may tell you a joke, but he will never tell you a lie.
Right.
But hey, the Most High be funny sometimes, right? Yo, if you read this, you really read the scriptures, right, and start like exploring the personality of the hour. Yo, the Most High is funny sometimes. He'll tell you a joke, but he'll never tell you a lie. I'm telling you, he did not lie when he said all the house of Esau shall be destroyed. He did not lie. He did not lie when he said the house of Esau shall be stubble. He did not lie. It wasn't a lie. That wasn't hyperbole. Okay? All right? Esau can't make it, man. Sorry. Okay? Excuse me. Now, let's get into this, right? Just to quickly hit y'all with some facts real quick. Right? It's a known fact that blacks and Hispanics overpopulate the prison system, right? Overpopulate the private prison system, right? However, we have the highest conviction rate, right? But we also have the highest, what's it called? When your case is overturned, basically when it's found out that you didn't commit the crime. I forget what the term is called, right? Let me see. Let me look that up real quick.
Yes, exoneration.
The water. We have the highest exoneration rate. Why? Why? Well, it's quite simple. It's quite simple. Especially if you're so-called black or Hispanic and you know the history of this country, right? And you understand your lived experience in this country. It's quite simple. It's simply because of your race, right? It's simply because this society, albeit built by you, wasn't built for you, right? Built by you, but wasn't built for you, right? That's how they could, that's how, I don't know if New York still does it anymore, but not until recently, ended the stop and frisk policy, right? Where they could just randomly stop you on the street and just search you. Yo, get away from me. What the hell is wrong with you? Right? Or these no-knock warrants. Right? All these different things that's designed to oppress us. Right? Oh, he fit the description. Well, Buddy said that he was white. If y'all remember, on one of our Friday classes, the elder showed a video of police jumping out of their car and tackling a blind and deaf man. The man was both blind and deaf. They didn't ask no questions, no nothing. They immediately, no investigation. There was a disturbance at a gas station, right? The disturbance was being done by I believe it was a homeless white man, right? They got out the car and they said, "What's going on?" The suspect, the one who was committing the crime, pointed at this random black man, right? Police jumped out. Oh, and I think he had cerebral palsy too, right? Police jumped out and tackled this man to the ground, assaulting this man. No type of investigation, no nothing, right? Well, that's the lived experience of so-called blacks and Hispanics and Native Americans in this country is oppression. That's our lived experience, is oppression, right? Exactly. Charge you with multiple charges to get you to cop out to maintain that high conviction rate. That's what they do, right? What do they try to do with the Central Park 5? Right? Had those young boys in those interrogation rooms coercing them, right? Trying to force them to admit to a crime that they did not commit, right? Kids. The Wadak, that's his name. The blind brother, right? And I pray that he got some type of reparation for that. I pray he sued the hell out of them, right? That's
Salaki, Edwin.
Huh?
He was a deaf black man with cerebral palsy.
Yep. And they jumped out on this brother and assaulted him for absolutely no reason. No time, no, not they didn't stop him and be like, hey, can we talk to you real quick? Nothing. Right? And they were assaulting him because they claimed he was resisting arrest. The brother is deaf. He can't hear you. All he knows is some people jumped on me. They might be trying to kill me or rob me. I need to fight for my life. But you sick animals, you don't see us as people, right? Your Constitution affirms that, right? Counting us as 3/5 of a human being, right? You're animals. You're sick animals. You claim that you're superior, right? You claim that you're superior, and yet you use all of your resources and all of your might to oppress us and to keep us away from the opportunities and the resources that you share amongst your constituents. Because you know that if we had those same opportunities and those same resources as your constituents, we will blow you out the water. We will blow you out the water mentally, right? Intellectually, right? As we already do physically, right? I mean, the proof is in the pudding that we blow you out the water intellectually, right? With our vast kingdoms of in the days of old, right? Or even our well-ran, successful communities that you've bombed and burned down. But you're so superior. If you're so superior, why do you feel so threatened? It's because you're not superior. It's because you're not superior. It's not, I heard somebody say it on Instagram, it's not white supremacy. No, it's not white supremacy. It's actually, what's the word? White narcissism, right? It's white narcissism because really deep down inside, you know that you are indeed inferior. You know that. You know that. That's why you fight tooth and nail and spend all of your resources trying to keep us down. Because you know that if the playing field was even, we will blow you out the water. We will embarrass you. As we already do in many cases. In the midst of our oppression, that just shows how great and how strong of a people we are. That just shows you that Yahweh is dealing with us. We are the true people of the book. There's nothing you can do, Esau, right? Though your pride has ascended to the heavens, right? Though you try to make your habitation amongst the stars, Yahweh will pull you down. Because pride is what? The beginning of what? Destruction. You see that? Man, I love the scriptures, man. I love the scriptures. All right? But let's go ahead and get into this. That's enough rambling from me. I know I talk a lot, right? Exactly. We taught them how to wash their hands. Taught them how to wash their ass. Excuse my language. Right? Now, for those of you that don't know, what is a private prison? All right? What is a private prison? Let's look at this real quick. just a quick Google search will tell you what a private prison is, right? Can you read that real quick, Ak?
This is the definition of private prison. Privatized prisons are correctional facilities operated by third-party for-profit corporations rather than government agencies, housing roughly 7 to 8% of U.S. prisoners. Major companies like Core Civic and GEO Group contract with states to manage facilities, often argue they reduce costs, though evidence on savings is mixed.
Oh, the evidence is definitely mixed. Oh, yes. Right? They, in fact, do not reduce costs at all. Right? In fact, 70% to 100% of the beds, of the bedding, the sleeping material that's supplied to these private prisons and whatnot comes from your tax dollars, number one. But what's sick about it is that they're not even up to code, right? They're not even, worth laying on. They're not, and many of them sit empty, right? Because it's all about profit. It's all about taking your money, right? At the end of the day, that's what it's all about, right? But let's go to this article real quick, right? Not this one. I got so many tabs open, right? Let's look at this. The forced prison labor in the land of the free, right? Exactly. They brought plantations into modern times. That's exactly what's going on, right? Let me zoom in real quick. Can you see that?
Download, I can see it.
Okay, come on, all praise. All right, let's begin.
This is forced prison labor in the land of the free, rooted in racism and economic exploitation. Spotlight by Nina Mast.
Check this out, man. Right? Go ahead.
Despite producing billions of dollars in value for the benefit of prisons and the private sector, incarcerated workers have almost no labor rights and are paid very little, if they are paid at all, for menial, exploitative, and at times dangerous work that fails to prepare them for life beyond incarceration.
Mm-hmm.
These dynamics are particularly extreme in the South, which incarcerates people, primarily Black men, at the highest rates in the world and is more likely than other regions to force incarcerated people to work for nothing at all.
Mm-hmm.
Because Southern state and local governments raise less tax revenue per capita than other regions, they rely more heavily on free or unpaid labor to operate costly prisons and produce goods and services on which the public sector depends. This reliance on free and unpaid labor is consistent with the racist and anti-worker Southern economic development model that has predominated in states across the regions since Reconstruction. Prison labor not only masks the true cost of mass incarceration, but also locks states into inhumane, regressive, and inefficient forms of revenue generation while deepening racial inequities and imposing high fiscal and social costs on local economies.
Exactly, Aaliyah. AKA slave labor. That's exactly what's going on here. Right? That's exactly what's going on here. That's why, that's you see, do you understand? That's why we did the lesson concerning the integration psyop. Right? integrate you into their white society, so now they have complete control over you, complete control over where you eat, what you learn, right? Where you go when you commit a crime, how long you stay there, what you do while you're there, right? Complete control. You understand? And of course, the highest, the racial demographic that's leading in incarceration is Black men, right? Well, that's not a surprise when you have, all of these racist policies and tactics that are deployed upon our communities, right? And over policing on our communities, right? With these, I don't know if y'all heard of them, these flock cameras, right? These new AI cameras called flock cameras. You may see them every now and then. It's the tall black cameras, right? Now they have microphones on them now, right? But this new AI surveillance system that they're introducing, right? Which is ran by Palantir, hint, hint, right? Just so y'all know, which is ran by Palantir, right? Is surveying and surveilling predominantly Black neighborhoods. That's where they're doing their test runs at, their trial runs on Black neighborhoods. That's specifically going on here in Atlanta, where I live, right? Over policing and over surveillance on your community, when you have been nothing but the receiving end of years and years and years of violence and oppression. Exactly. Meanwhile, while they eat children and they sell children as sex slaves across the seas, right? But they blame Tyrone, right? When he looks at the environment that he's living in, and he has a higher rate of having PTSD. This is a real study. Look this up. He has a higher rate of having PTSD than a combat veteran because of the condition of his community, because of the redlining, the history of redlining, right? Because of the denial of jobs and opportunities, because of the lack of proper education, right? All those things factor into creating an impoverished and poor community. And when a community is impoverished and poor, the crime rate goes up. See how the white man do? See how evil and wicked he is? He creates the problem, right, of why your people are now being called YNs. He creates that problem and then complains when our brothers and our sisters are taught no other way but the quote unquote YN lifestyle, because that's all that's given to them. That's all that's made readily available to them. Right? So they grow up in this lifestyle, right? And then become criminals and then populate the private prison system. Feeding that slave labor system and lining their pockets. It's all a vicious cycle. It's a beast with many heads, per the book of Revelation, right? It's principalities and spiritual wickedness in high places. That's what it is. You understand? Read on.
Nationwide, nearly 2 million people are confirmed in state and federal prisons, county jails, juvenile and immigrant detention centers, and other confinement facilities. Of the 1.2 million people incarcerated in state and federal prisons, nearly 800,000 are prison laborers.
That's
Most
over
of them,
half, right? Am I mistaken? Right? That's over half. Come on.
most of them by force. Most of these workers, about 80%, are employed in facility maintenance and operations, such as janitorial duties, food preparation, grounds maintenance, and laundry. Tasks that keep the institutions that imprison them running. Of the other roughly 20%, about 17% work for government run businesses where they might staff DMV call centers or wash industries for public hospitals, or on public projects where they might be tasked with hazardous spill cleanup or firefighting duties in state owned forests. The other 3% work for private sector employees where they earn meager wages producing goods and services for industries across the US economy.
All while either being paid absolutely nothing or being paid what, a penny, 5 cents an hour? Slave labor, man.
That's right.
Slave labor. That's why the theory of the school to prison pipeline system is true. It's a factual theory, right? The No Child Left Behind policy that was implemented by George Bush, right, contributes to that factor. Don't care about what the kids are studying. Don't care about their education. Just push them through the school system so that they can fill up our prisons faster. Because they're going to go out into this world ignorant. Right? It's a vicious cycle. Come on.
Incarcerated labor is rooted in slavery and bears an especially striking resemblance in the South.
This kind of goes into what you were reading about, right?
Right.
Bring it out.
The incarceration and extraction of labor from prisoners in the South is directly rooted in legacies of slavery. Though the 13th Amendment to the Constitution abolished slavery in the United States, it also legalized slavery as a punishment for a crime. After the exception was in place, Southern states quickly implemented black codes, laws that criminalized many mundane activities of formerly enslaved black men and women, and subjected many of them once again to unpaid forced labor under the convict leasing system.
Now check this out, right? What is a black code?
Mm-hmm.
Right? Look at this.
This is a black code. Perfect. Black codes were restrictive laws passed by Southern U.S. states in 1865 to 1866, immediately after the Civil War, designed to limit the freedom of African Americans to force them back into labor under conditions similar to slavery. They aimed to maintain white supremacy and restore a pre-war social order by controlling the newly freed labor force.
Isn't that akin to slavery? Is that not akin to slavery? Right? You may not be getting, whipped by a bullwhip, but you're getting beat with that nightstick.
Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah. And other atrocities that go on behind those prison walls. We hear about them. Right? The rapes and the murder cover-ups, right? And the drug trafficking, right? Hell, even prostitution. Right? Ran by the prison guards. Oh, see, you thought I was going to say the prisoners are doing this. Of course, yes, some of them are doing this. Yes, yes. But a lot of these things are done by the staff of these said prisons. Read on.
Though this system, employers bid on and leased overwhelmingly black incarcerated workers and subjected them to brutal conditions, often working them to death. The 13th Amendment loophole also led to forced labor in the force of debt peonage, in which black people found guilty, often of fabricated crimes, were forced to work without pay to pay off criminal fines and court fees. In other cases, black workers who became indebted through sharecropping, in which white landowners rented farmland to black workers and hoarded the profits while forcing tenant farmers into debt they often could not repay, or other means, were forced to work without pay under threat of violence or convict leasing. Convict leasing allowed states to criminalize black people for trivial offenses, such as loitering, breaking curfew, or failing to show proof of employment, and lease them to work without pay for private employers. Though convict leasing as an official practice ended in the early 20th century, forced and often unpaid, labor under threat of punishment continues in prisons across the country. These dynamics are particularly extreme in the South, where incarceration rates are the highest, prison wages are lowest, and forced labor arrangements bear the most striking resemblances to past forms of convict leasing and debt peonage.
Yo, read this, man. Lamentations 4 and 18.
This is the book of Lamentations, chapter 4 and verse 18. They hunt our steps, that we cannot go into our streets. Our end is near, our days are fulfilled, for our end is come.
This is the sting of captivity, man. They hunt our steps. You have no guarantee of your life when you exit out your home. When you're heading to work, when you're heading back home from work, when you're going to the store, when you're going to the gym, when you're going to the movies, when you're going to pick up your children from school, when you're taking your children to school, you have no guarantee, right? Your life hangs in the balance because they hunt our steps, right? Now they can pull up on you in unmarked cars with masks on and bulletproof vests, tell you to get out the car without any explanation. All just on suspicion, right? All because your skin is brown. Oh yeah, that's a real law. Oh yes. That is a real policy that was passed. You can be detained, right? And eligible or investigated for deportation, right? Off of the suspicion that you're an illegal immigrant or whatnot because your skin is brown. Yes, that's a real thing. They hunt our steps that we cannot go on our streets, right? And it may feel like your end is near, but no, their end is near. Our salvation is at nigh, right? Always remember that. Look at this. Good precept, Isaiah 10 and 1. Woe unto them that decree unrighteousness decrees. I mean, it's like an unrighteous decrees, and that right grievousness which they have prescribed, to turn aside the needy from judgment and to take away the right from the poor of my people, that widows may be their prey and that they may rob the fatherless. That's exactly what's going on. Woe unto these evil demons, man. You telling me that they have a chance of making it? No chance. Right? They make widows their prey. They literally feast upon children. And they pass laws and declare wars on you, like the drug war, the war on drugs in the 80s, right? To mass incarcerate you, to continue to feed their beast. Nah, man. These people can't make it. They continually afflict the children of God, the apple of the Most High God's eye, day and night, without ceasing. The old hatred, they have not shunned away the old hatred, but instead perpetuated it. Blood is in their hearts, right? Therefore, blood shall pursue them perpetually. That's what the scriptures say. Is that a lie? Let's pull that up real quick. Because they think I'm lying. They think it's a hyperbole. Right? Let me pull that up real quick. Give me Ezekiel chapter 35 and verse 6. Right? Matter of fact, man. Start at verse 3.
Count that one on there.
Right? Read.
This is the book of Ezekiel, chapter 35 and verse 3. And say unto it, thus saith the Lord God, behold, O Mount Seir, I am against thee, and I will stretch out mine hand against thee, and I will make thee most desolate.
Now, who inhabits Mount Seir? Right? Who inhabits Mount Seir? Right? Mount Zion is inhabited by who? By Israel, is it not? Who does Mount Seir represent? It's the house of Esau. Right? Mount Seir represents the house of Esau. Right? Read on.
Verse 4.
Slacky, hold on. Slacky, hold on. Let me. I want to share this, just to prove that to y'all what I just said. Right? Seir. Right? I'm not talking to you, Siri. Mount Seir. Seir, a mountain of Idumea, and its aboriginal occupants, also one in Israel, right? Formed like Seir, rough, Seir, a mountain of Idumea, and its aboriginal occupants, also one in Palestine, Seir, right? Now, as we read on in these verses, clearly it's not talking about Israel when it refers to Mount Seir. It must be talking about Idumea. Watch. Let's read on. Let's read on. And mind you, this is the Lord talking. It says, "Thus saith Yahweh, power. Behold, O Mount Seir, I'm against thee." Read.
Verse 4. I will lay thy cities waste, and thou shalt be desolate, and thou shalt know that I am the Lord.
Come on.
Because thou hast had a perpetual hatred, and has shed the blood of the children of Israel by the force of the sword in the time of their calamity, and the end that their iniquity had an end. In the time that the iniquity had an end.
Mount Seir, or Idumea, you have shed the blood of the children of Israel by the force of the sword in the time that their calamity had an end. In the time that their iniquity had an end, you continue to shed their blood. You continue to pursue that old hatred, right? So clearly we can see here that when the Lord is speaking to Mount Seir, in this context, it's clearly not talking about Israel. It's talking about Idumea, right? Remember, Mount Zion is used to represent the nation of Israel. In like manner, Mount Seir is used to represent the nation of Edom. Read on.
Verse 6. Therefore, as I live, saith the Lord God, I will prepare thee unto blood, and blood shall pursue thee. Sith thou hast not hated blood, even blood shall pursue thee.
When the Lord says, as I live, he's swearing. And there is no greater power above the Most High God. So when the Lord swears by himself, you better be damn certain that he is going to make good on what he says. Because he is swearing by his name as he lives. We know the Lord is what? Eternal. There is no end to Yahweh. As he lives, blood will pursue Mount Seir, or the house of Edom, Idumea. Is that a lie? Is that a lie? Is that hyperbole? I'm trying to figure it out. That seems pretty matter of fact to me. If I say, as long as I live, I'm going to make sure that I put $1 into this account every day. That means I'm going to do that, right? As long as I live, for all the days of my life. I'm going to go over it one more time, very slow. There is no greater power than the Most High God. When the Most High says, as I live, he's swearing upon himself. There's no greater power to swear upon. He's swearing upon himself. The Lord is not a man that he should lie. So when the Lord says, as I live, and we know the Lord is eternal, there's no end to his life. As I live, blood shall pursue Mount Seir. He means that. Blood will pursue Mount Seir. Blood will pursue the house of Edom, period. That's not hyperbole. That's not, oh, he's just talking. No, he mean that. He's literally swearing right here. He's literally swearing by his name. What are we doing? Why are we trying to save them? For what? You're wasting your time, as Captain Asha Allah would say. You're wasting your time. But, I'm not one to stop you. Have fun. Right? Have fun. Do your thing. All right? But I wanted to bring that out, right? Because, these people are evil. Look at what they're doing to our people. Look at what Edom is doing to our people, man. Right? Drafting up the Emancipation Proclamation just to modernize slavery and bring it back, right? And perpetuate it in the 21st century. We're the elder says this all the time. We're the furthest into the future that we've ever been. We got self-automated driving cars. We have self-driving cars. We got phones that unlock with your face. I can call somebody who's on the opposite end of the earth and look at them on a phone. I can see their face and I can communicate with them. And these people are eating children and raping and molesting children and mass incarcerating people and forcing them into slave labor? Huh? What is going on? What's that? Yo, I'm mad confused. Huh?
What? Bro, what are you talking about, man?
What are we talking about? What is going on? Right? Let's read on.
One example of incarcerated people working for private employers in the prison industrial Slovakia. One example of incarcerated people working for private employers is the Prison Industry Enhancement Certification Program, under which they either work directly for the company or are employed by the prison and contracted out. Despite representing a small share of the country's incarcerated workforce, these workers contribute to large profits for private businesses by producing goods and services for the suppliers of major brands across our economy, often for consumers who are unaware that they were produced with prison labor.
Mm-hmm.
Though these jobs tend to pay higher wages than non-industry jobs that support prison operation, up to 80% of workers' wages are deducted in room and board, taxes, and victim compensation, and employers regularly exploit the minimal labor standards that do exist with impunity.
This is absolutely horrific, man. Imagine you are wrongfully convicted and wrongfully incarcerated, right? For something that you did not do, because that's what happens 9 times out of 10 with our brothers and sisters. We're locked up for crimes that we did not commit, right? And you're forced into this slave labor, right? You're forced into this slave labor. And you're not even supposed to be there. You're not even supposed to be there. Not to mention, not to take into account that, again, the prison system is supposed to be a rehabilitation place for you, right? To get you back acclimated with civilized society. That's what it's supposed to do, but no. Everything is a money game for these evil creatures, right? Everything is about money because money is their God, right? Come on.
These programs are not only exploit imprison workers, but can be harmful to local economies and businesses. By employing a captive labor force, these private employers enjoy significant cost savings, which enable them to offer artificially low-cost products, undercutting local competitors that do not employ prison labor. In some cases, the employment of incarcerated workers in PIECP jobs has resulted in job losses for free workers in the local economy.
See that? So the private prison systems, they try to argue that they're the business that they offer, the the service that they offer somehow benefits society, somehow is cost efficient and benefits society, and it does not. It makes it worse, right? In fact, as private prisons, the more private prisons emerge, right, the more the incarceration rate goes up, right? The more these prisons are filled up, right? The point of prisons is so that the really the goal should be that that they're eventually emptied out. Because if they're emptied out, that means that the people that were in there, they have changed, they have been rehabilitated, right? This, that, and the third, right? And of course, depending on the severity of the crime,
Right.
right? But no, it's not about that. It's about money. How can we further exploit these people? Because again, this is predominantly Black people going through this, right? Because we lead in the incarceration rate. How can we further exploit these people? How can we further oppress these people? That's what's constantly on their mind day and night, right? Let's keep reading on in this.
Southern states incarcerate.
And this is a long document too. We have some other stuff we're gonna get into too. So we're gonna get a couple more in this, and we're gonna move on to some other ones.
Southern states incarcerate people at the highest rates in the world. The United States is infamous for exorbitant incarceration rates. If each U.S. state were a country, 30 states and the U.S. as a nation would have some of the highest incarceration rates internationally. For example, for every 100,000 people in the United States, 614 are incarcerated. This is more than 4 times higher than the country from which we gained our independence, the United Kingdom, which is 146, and nearly 7 times higher than our northern neighbor, Canada, which is 88. But the rankings of southern states are particularly extreme. 13 of the 16 southern states and DC have much higher incarceration rates than the U.S. average, which is 614, Louisiana 1,067, and Mississippi 1,020 top the list with rates that exceed 1,000 incarcerated people for every 100,000 people in the state, followed closely by Arkansas 912 and Oklahoma 905.
I mean, is it so far-fetched to say that a nation that was founded upon and its economy was built upon slave labor continues that very same practice today? Is that crazy to say? Is that far-fetched to say? I think not. I think not. Right? It's the same practice. It's just modernized. It's just blanketed with a pleasing to the eye tapestry. That's it. It's still the same thing, right? And slowly but surely, they're trying to get it back to as close as it once was, if you think about it. What's their slogan? What's the slogan? Make America great again. How? When? How and when? When was America great? And who was it great for? As far as I'm concerned, as soon as our people landed on these shores, it was never great up to this day.
Nope.
Make America great again. When was America great, and for who was it great for? From the 1600s to the 1800s for slavery. From the 1800s to the 1900s was Jim Crow, and within the 1900s was, you know, the war on drugs and things of that nature, right? Up to now, those lasting effects, right, from all that passed down trauma through our DNA and learned behaviors and survival tactics that we've learned. When was it ever great for us?
It's never.
Never. So when they say make America great again, they mean overturning the 1965 Voting Rights Act.
Mm-hmm.
Right? They mean mass incarcerating black people, right, and forcing them into slave labor, right? That's what they mean. Redrawing the voting maps to get rid of any type of black representation in Congress or in legislative bodies, right? So that your needs and that your wants aren't heard nor addressed. They rarely ever were to begin with. Let's keep it a buck, right? But now it's, right? And that's what happens when you that's what happens when you integrate into their society. That's what happens when you know, but watch that class another time. All right? Watch that class another time. Right? Exactly. They mean hanging us and creating more folly days off the death of our people. Exactly. That's what they mean when they say make America great again. Make it great for them again. We're sick and tired of going to job interviews and the black man is outdoing us. We're tired of seeing the black man prospering, even though we've created all the type of roadblocks that we can to hinder him and to hinder the black woman. Still thriving. We're sick of seeing that, right? So they want to take it as far back as they can. That's what they mean when they say make America great again for them, right? Now, let's pull up that, well, actually, before we do that, right? Before we do that, let's look at this real quick. Look at this. Can you see that?
I can see it.
Okay, read that real quick.
And it reads, a new study by USC Berkeley graduate student has surprised a number of experts in the criminology field. Its main finding, private prisons are packed with young people of color.
Mm-hmm.
The concept of racial disparities behind bars is not exactly a new one. Study after report after working group has found a version of the same conclusion. The Sentencing Project estimates 1 in 3 black men will spend time behind bars during their lifetime, compared with 1 in 6 Latino men and 1 in 17 white men. Arrest rates for marijuana possession are 4 times as high for black Americans as for white. Black men spend an average of 20% longer behind bars in federal prisons than their white peers for the same crimes. These reports and thousands of others have the cumulative effect of portraying a criminal justice system that disproportionately incarcerates Black Americans and people of color in general.
So again, you have this disproportionate amount of Blacks and Hispanics being incarcerated and pumped into these private prison systems, right? who are making a killing off of their labor, right? I'm talking about billions of dollars off of their labor, right? Because they're contracting them out to the government. These are, again, these private prison systems, they're not government owned. These are separate, these are third party corporations.
Right.
Like it explained earlier, like GEO Group and what was the other one? I think it said Civic Center or something like that, right? These are third party corporations that directly and solely only benefit off of getting more prisoners. So if they're in the business of getting more prisoners, right? If that's their business, why would their goal be to let's make sure these prisoners are getting better so that they can be released back into society as better contributors to society? No. It's like the same thing with the pharmaceutical company, with Big Pharma. Same thing with pharmaceutical companies. If we're in the business of taking care of sick people, why would we give out the cure? Why would we sell the cure? A healthy patient, a healthy person isn't a patient, and no patients means no money. So let's keep them sick and keep them addicted to our prescriptions and our pills that relieve some of their symptoms, but don't get rid of it. Make them a permanent customer, right? Because that also goes into your health insurance policies and life insurance policies and different things of that nature. That might be a class in itself as well. Diving into the healthcare system, the corrupt nature of the healthcare system, and how it's it's literally a 360 deal. It's literally a 360 deal.
It's a revolving cycle.
Yeah, literally, right? Now let's look at this, right? Let's look at this real quick. This is a study done by Washington State University, right? Privatized prisons lead to more inmates, longer sentences. So the point is supposed to be less inmates, because if we have less inmates, that means that people aren't committing crimes, right? And people aren't committing crimes because their state of living is up to par, is getting better, right? Because again, poorer communities lead to more crime, right? Because of the state of the community, because of the lack of resources and opportunities, right? But let's read this document real quick. This is a quick one, so we could read it fairly quick, right? Go ahead.
When states turn to private prisons, the number of criminals incarcerated rises and the length of sentences increases. That's the finding of a new paper from Washington State University researchers just published in the journal Labor Economics, entitled, "Do Privately Owned Prisons Increase Incarceration Rates?" The study found that private prisons lead to an average increase of 178 new prisoners per million population per year. At an average cost of $60 per day per prisoner, that cost states states between 1.9 to 10.6 million per year if all those additional prisoners are in private prisons.
That's a lot of money.
Yeah, it is.
See, again, it's always about the money. You got to follow the money. That's what it's going to always be about for Esau. It's going to always be about the money. It's never going to be about making people better or healing society, healing the world. It's never going to be about that. It's going to be about how much money can I make? Right? I mean, if $1 billion is what, 1,000 millions? How many more billions do you need? I'm confused. If I had $1 billion, I don't need nothing else. What? Nothing else. I can't even spend $1 billion in my lifetime. That is literally impossible. I wouldn't be able to do it. Right? But no, they just want more and more and more and more. Why? Because the scriptures say this. I mean, the scriptures have their number, man. Right? Watch this. Right? Look at this. Psalm 73 and 7. Read that real quick.
This is the book of Psalm chapter 73 and verse 7. Their eyes stand out with fatness. They have more than heart could wish.
Their eyes stand out with fatness. And they have more than what their heart could wish. You have everything you could have ever, bro. I don't understand. You have everything. You've subdued the entire earth. But you still want more and more and more. You can't help yourself. These creatures can't help themselves. Their spirit is crooked. Their spirit is designed to be destroyed. Literally. That's why their eyes stand out with fatness. And they have an insatiable appetite. Cannot please them. Right? Cannot please them. There's always something more that they want. Right? That's why you see them trying to build colonies on the moon. Right? Trying to build colonies on Mars. Right? Number one is because they think that they could escape their destruction. Number two is because their eyes stand out with fatness. They're so greedy. Right? The book of Wisdom of Solomon tells us what they say. What? Let us leave our mark in every place of the earth. Let us use up creation. And let every man take part of his voluptuousness.
Right.
What does that mean? That means let us take everything that our heart could wish for. Everything that our heart could desire. Let's take it. There you go. SOT Cincinnati put it right here. Wisdom of Solomon 2 and 6. Come on, therefore, let us enjoy the good things that are present, and let us speedily use the creatures like is in you. That's why you got all kinds of animals and creatures that have gone extinct, because they speedily use creation. Their eyes stand out with fatness, right? Book of Wisdom of Solomon chapter 2 is concerning the wicked, the thoughts of the wicked, right? Wisdom of Solomon is a good book. Y'all should read that, right? It's a good precept too. Psalm 17 and 10, they are clothed in their own fat. With their mouth they speak proudly. Yes, they do. They speak proudly, and they speak wickedly concerning our oppression. with their talking heads like Charlie Kirk, right? And Nick Fuentes, right? And damn, what's his name?
We got Myron Gaines.
Yeah,
Myron
Gaines, him.
Yeah.
He comes from a failed country,
right,
where they're crawling on all fours, licking up the dust from the earth. But he wants to comment on the state of black people, when the whole reason why he's even able to come here is because of the sacrifices and the blood that was spilled by black bodies.
Right.
The nerve. All because he actually literally wants to be a white man. Right? Their eyes stand out with fatness, man. There's no pleasing their appetite. That's why they must be destroyed. What use? What use is a creature whose appetite cannot be pleased? Ask yourself that. Right? Their end is destruction, and that's it. All right?
Precept.
Go ahead.
It's the book of Psalm chapter 49 and verse 11.
Come on.
Their inward thought is that their houses shall continue forever, and their dwelling places to all generations. They call their lands after their own names. Nevertheless, man being in honor abideth not. He is like the beast that perisheth. This their way is their folly. Yeah, Salakia, yet their possession approved their saying, Selah.
Break it down now.
I think it's important to pull out because they believe that they're going to continue on forever, just like the Edwan said in Wisdom of Solomon chapter 2. But it's coming to a close, and generation after generation, they continue to push on that same propaganda.
Mm-hmm.
But the honorable man, he's seen in a lower state.
Right.
He's going to decline. The honorable man is going to be in prison. He's going to be put in situations where he may not be looked upon, but these wicked Edomites are in a position to high places.
Exactly. That's exactly right. All right. Let's read on in this document. I think we was at the length of sentences.
The length of sentences also increases when private prisons come into a state, especially in non-violent crimes that have more leeway in sentencing guidelines.
Well, of course they do, right? Of course the length of the sentence increases because the whole game is money. It's the money game. I'm not going to make a good profit if you're only in here for a month. Right? Come on.
Not all crimes are created equally, said Gregmar Galinto.
Yeah, there you go.
A co-author and professor in WSU's School of Economic Sciences. For crimes like property damage, fraud, or non-violent drug crimes where judges have more leeway in sentencing, states saw higher sentencing rates and significant increases in sentence lengths when private prisons were established. The number of new sentences and sentencing lengths weren't affected in violent crime sentences, where judges have less leeway in sentencing, he said. Galinato wrote the paper with Ryan Rolla, who earned a PhD in economics from WSU and now works in the office of the Attorney General for Washington State. The authors found two potential reasons for the effect of private prisons. The first is corruption, where judges or legislators may be influenced to give out harsher sentences or write laws with harsher penalties. The most prominent corruption example is the Kids for Cash scandal in Pennsylvania, where two judges were were bribed by a private prison company to give harsher sentences to juvenile offenders instead of probation to increase occupancy at for-profit detention centers.
Now you see that.
Damn.
I mean, the proof is in the pudding, family. The proof is in the pudding, right? I mean, it doesn't get any more plain than that. These systems, these institutions are specifically built up and designed to keep you in a lower state and to line their pockets. That's slavery. Ding, 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 ding. Now the bells are going off in your head. That's slavery. Okay? Yes, sister, exactly. They get money the longer we are locked up. But white men and women out here saying they are tired of their tax money paying to feed us in jail like we want to stay. Oh, man. It's getting worse and worse out here, man. Right? Come on.
The other potential reason for the findings is increased capacity. If a judge knows prisons are at or over capacity, he or she is likely more hesitant to send marginal criminals to prison, Galinato said. But when you have private prisons that don't have capacity concerns, that induces more people to be incarcerated.
Jump down to right. You can jump down to right here.
We aren't saying private prisons are bad, he said, but states need to be careful with them. If your state has previous and regular issues with corruption, I wouldn't be surprised to see laws being more skewed to give longer sentences. For example, if the goal is to reduce the number of incarcerated individuals, increasing the number of private prisons may not be the way to go. One can study sentencing reform and even anti-corruption policies that improve the efficacy and fairness of judicial outcomes. Although people have been questioning the role of private prisons in mass incarceration in the US for many years, Galinato saw no published research that rigorously estimates the causal effect between such prisons and incarceration rates.
Come on.
That's because comparing the growth of private prisons to increases in incarceration rates could be related in a different way. Increased crime could mean more private prisons are necessary to hold them. Although Galinato and Rolla started working on the paper in 2015, it took them several years to account for the possible bias in their research. Once they factored that in, while going through thousands of papers about privatization, the data still showed private prisons led to more prisoners and longer sentences.
So, but at the end of the day, private prisons still showed to more prisoners and longer sentences. That's what they're saying to conclude their study, right? Private prisons, the implementation of private prisons led to more incarcerations and longer sentences. Even examining through the biasness, right, of the information that was being that they were looking into, right? The data was still there. The data still showed that more private prisons equals more incarcerations and longer sentences, right? Check this out. This is from the document we was just reading earlier. And we're going to get into one more, right?
Black people,
because you have the things you want to share. Look at this.
Black people are more likely to be incarcerated, especially in the South, and are over represented in low-paid prison jobs. The racial and gender composition of the incarcerated population, and thus the incarcerated worker population, does not match the population at large. For example, while about 12% of the US is Black, 32% of people incarcerated in state and federal prisons are Black. Men, Hispanic people, and American Indian and Alaska Native people also make up a larger share of the imprisoned population compared with their share of the overall population.
I mean, come on, man. Blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans
Right.
are overrepresented in these prison systems. Blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans are overrepresented in these prison systems. Let's read Isaiah 61:1. You cannot tell me that we are not the people of the book. Read that.
This is the book of Isaiah, chapter 61 and verse 1. The Spirit of the Lord God is upon me, because the Lord hath anointed me to preach good tidings unto the meek. He hath sent me to bind up the brokenhearted, to proclaim liberty to the captives, and the opening of the prison to them that are bound.
Yo, Bahashima Mashiach Yahushua. This is going to happen for our brothers and our sisters who are wrongfully incarcerated, right?
That's right.
Or who have received extremely harsh sentences for minor petty crimes, right? Those prisons will be opened and your bounds will be loosed. Thus saith the Lord. This is the Spirit of the Lord that is speaking through the prophet Isaiah right here. Opening up the prison houses to release our people. You cannot tell me that we are not the people of the book. This clearly said what? So-called Blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans are overrepresented in the U.S. prison system. Who are the curses upon? Is it upon us or not? Right? I just wanted to show that information real quick, right? Before we get into this next one. All right. Now check this out, right? On the topic of state penitentiaries and private prison systems. This is the Louisiana State Penitentiary, right? And this article is titled "Slavery Still Legal in the United States?" Yes, under the 13th Amendment exception, right? Which we already pretty much covered a little bit, right? But I want you to talk about the book that you were reading. You need me to pull up those pictures.
Another one.
Here's the first one.
Adam, can I ask one question to the people?
Of course.
I want to know how many people know what the 13th Amendment says.
It's a good question.
How many people know what the 13th Amendment says? That's the question on the table. Because, like Adam said, it was already partially discussed in that first article, but this article that Adam shared, it goes into it in the importance of how it is being, it's stated in the Constitution, but it's not necessarily applicable to us today, you know. But I think us knowing what the 13th Amendment says and what it does for us, or it's supposed to do for us, you know, we all should know. So how many people know what that says? If anybody does.
We got one con.
We got con.
All right. I guess it's only brother, right?
Right. So I'll go into the definition, or I'll tell you what the 13th Amendment says. It says, neither slavery nor involuntary servitude, except as a punishment for crime, whereof the property shall have been duly convicted, or the person shall be duly convicted. So the 13th Amendment, it's supposed to get rid of slavery for our people. That's what the 13th Amendment is supposed to do. That's why it's important. But as you've heard, there's an exception in the 13th Amendment.
Mm-hmm.
And that's what that article goes into. It's a loophole. Yeah, like Adwan Nayo said, it's a loophole. And the people that have established the Constitution have set that loophole in order to say, like, yeah, well, we've given y'all, freedom from slavery, but I can abuse this to put you in a type of slavery. And that's what this article goes into. So this, or not this article, this book. This book is by Dr. Claude Anderson. And I'm sure y'all are familiar. If you've been tuned in to True Tuesday, you might have heard that name come up. Dr. Claude Anderson. He's a member of Your Nation, who cares about Black people and the self-sufficiency of Black people. And he wrote a book called Black Labor, White Wealth. Came out in 1994. This is what it looks like. If you ever see it in the store, it's called Black Labor, White Wealth. It's a good book. And he talks about the foundation of the Constitution, and who put it in order to have these amendments, right? So I want to start at the second paragraph.
I'll read it for you.
All right.
Right. Second paragraph.
Yeah, there we
go. The Constitution placed white wealth interests over Black personal rights because the farmers were wealthy, conservative white men. More than 31% of the delegates to the Philadelphia Convention were slaveholders who together owned approximately 1,400 slaves.
Salaki Adwan. So I just want to put this in perspective. When your Constitution was put in place, when your 13th Amendment that was supposed to free slaves, these are the people that are setting it in order. Mm-hmm. These are slave owners who were setting it in order to free you, supposedly. You think that's really what they wanted to do?
Come on, man.
They have slaves. You think they're... It says 1,400 slaves. You think they want to free their slaves? Come on. I don't want, please.
The farmers were idealists, but they were also racist.
Right. So an idealist is somebody who says things like all men are created equal, but they not really talking about you.
Right.
They're talking about their constituents. They're talking about other white men. They're not talking about you. They're idealists, but they're also racist. Right? I don't want to continue, please.
James Madison and George Washington were two of the larger and more prosperous of all the constitutional delegates.
Right.
Their capital investment in slaves will be worth approximately $105 million today.
Right. And this is a book that comes out in 1994. 105 million today, during this time is probably way more now. In 1994, gas was like $1 or so. Gas is $4 at this point. You can only imagine, how much money that is today, right?
Now, in the 90s, gas was 87 cents, according to my mother.
That's even worse.
Right?
That's way worse. All right, Adwan, you can continue.
They and their fellow delegates protected their own slave. They and their fellow delegates protected their own slave investments and the nation's free labor system.
Right.
The delegates believed that Black slave labor was necessary for the development of the nation and the prosperity of white Europeans in this country. All of the nation's power and wealth were in the hands of white males. Any anti-slavery sentiments that might have been voiced did not prevail. The well-being of Blacks was not a concern.
And this is the people that have founded your Constitution, that supposedly gave you a way out by the 13th Amendment.
Right.
Even though they said, "Hey, you all are free," they don't really care for you.
Not talking about you, boy.
Yeah, they're not talking about you. They're not talking about you. So don't think because these people have put it in the charters of the American government that you're supposed to be free, that it's really for you. These people care about their own nation, which is, like it says, white Europeans, and not about, the so-called Black, Hispanic, and Native American, the so-called, or really the Israelite on this side of the world, right? And that's all I got.
Right. They're not talking about you, man. Right? In fact, this is what they're saying to you.
Get out there! That nigga is get out there!
That's what they say.
That Negro is guilty,
right,
for being a Negro. Right? Let's put him in one of GEO's prisons. Right? That's what he's doing. All right? Now, let's look at this real quick. Let's read some of this. All right, then we're going to shut it down. Is slavery still legal in the United States? Under the 13th, yes. Under the 13th Amendment exception, as we just read, right? The loophole, right?
This reads, visitors have described the drive up to the Louisiana State Penitentiary as a trip back in time, with men forced to labor in its fields, some still picking cotton. For as little as 2 cents an hour, the prison was and is a plantation. If that shocks you, you are not alone. Like most Americans, you probably missed the day in U.S. history class when the teacher explained that we abolished slavery, except as punishment for a crime, or more likely, that lesson never happened.
I tell you what, that lesson never happened with me. I never learned about that in any part of grade school, elementary through 12th grade, and college. Didn't learn nothing like that. See, again, that's why I continue to say, SOT, we're going to prepare you for this racist society. You're going to know your history here at SOT, right? Because we see them trying to strip that away, right? We see them trying to whitewash their sins. No. Their sins are as bright as scarlet, and it's to be exposed, right? It's to be remembered, because they have not found any place of repentance. No, right? Come on.
A recent poll commissioned by Worth Rises revealed that 68% of Americans don't know that there's an exception in the 13th Amendment to the U.S. Constitution.
Yeah, because, let's keep them distracted with bread and circuses, right? Let's keep them distracted with bread and circuses so that they don't even know that if their government is using their tax dollars to fund a genocide or start illegal wars or oppress the people, they have every right to withhold paying taxes. Oh yes. Yeah, that's in your Constitution. Yeah. But you ain't know that. You ain't know that because, they got you too distracted with bread and circuses, right? Instagram, TikTok. What's the new TikTok dance? What's going on with Clay and Megan? What's going on with them? Right? What's going on with Stefan Diggs and the little chef girl he was messing with? I'm interested to see that. Right? You're not being circumspect. You're not being aware. You're not being privy to Satan's devices. You got to be privy to Satan's devices. Right? Come on.
The amendment celebrated for abolishing slavery. Another 20% think there's an exception if the sitting president decides, as part of wartime efforts or in the interest of public safety. Thankfully, these exceptions don't exist, but slavery very much still does. So let's revisit that history lesson. Immediately following the passage of the 13th Amendment in 1865, Southern states and localities used this exception to pass black codes and other vagrancy laws to criminalize and re-enslave newly freed black people. These laws prohibited black people from moving freely, owning land, congregating, being unemployed, and more.
You can't even be
You can't even be unemployed.
You can't even be unemployed. They're not going to employ you. And when they see that you're unemployed, they're going to throw you in prison.
Right.
Damn. That's literally that is the definition of I can't win for losing.
Right.
They hunt your steps, man. Right? Come on.
Punishment often included incarceration and then forced labor through convict leasing,
which we discussed.
A brutal practice in which governments lease incarcerated people to private businesses.
Let's jump down to, I want to jump down to no, let me go back up. I want to jump down to right. Here we go. As the largest prison in the U.S.
As the largest prison in the U.S. and one of the oldest, Angola's histories is critical, but it's also not uncommon. And more importantly, plantation prisons are no longer the only plantations. Right now, there are roughly 1.2 million people in prisons across the U.S. who can be and often are legally enslaved.
Come on, man. Read.
When people are incarcerated, they are forced to labor under threat of punishment and often in grueling conditions for little or no pay. The average hourly wage is 14 cents per hour. In 5 states, all in the South, pay nothing at all for most jobs. Correctional administrators exploit the preference for facility jobs over field jobs in the way that enslavers would grossly demarcate between house slaves and field slaves.
See that?
The punishments for refusing to work are again drawn from antebellum slavery, including solitary confinement, then and now more commonly referred to as the box or the hole, and the separation of families through the denial of calls and visits. Like Louisiana, Texas still has incarcerated people picking cotton, even at a net loss to the state.
Even at a so still have people picking cotton, even though it financially hurts them.
Right.
Just cause.
Just cause.
Just cause we can. Boy. Right?
Right.
So y'all understand now. Do y'all see now? Do y'all understand now? Do y'all get it? Especially for my black brothers and sisters out there who pretend like this problem isn't a problem, that this does not exist. Do you understand now? That this is real life. These are very real modern things that are still occurring to this day. So when you hear us out on the street, right, saying how the white man is the devil that the Bible speaks of, well, here's the proof. Just some of the proof. Because history spans a lot of years. All right? And for as long as history has been history, the white man has been evil. If he had been good, I would say the white man has been good. Like I think they believe that we want white people to be evil. No, we want white people to be good. We really do. Stop being evil.
Right.
But they can't. They can't. They can't do it. They can't do it. Right? So listen, man. Yeah, I don't understand. It's diabolical. It's diabolical. I don't understand. But hey, brothers gonna do what they want to do. I'm not gonna try to stop them. All right. But with that, man, I pray that y'all were edified and learned something new. All right. Now y'all have a more in-depth scope and understanding of the wickedness of this system. And I know it can be very disparaging and very grim and bleak, because you're looking and you're noticing, damn, we're literally attacked on all fronts, on every side, But again, you have this. Again, you have this, right? Let me share my screen again. It's a lot. Again, you have this. Read that.
The Spirit of the Lord God is upon me, because the Lord hath anointed me to preach good tidings unto the meek. He hath sent me to bind up the brokenhearted, to proclaim liberty to the captives, and the opening of the prison to them that are bound.
Come on.
To proclaim the acceptable year of the Lord and the day of vengeance of our God, to comfort all that mourn.
Ba'ashim Hamashiach Yahawashi.
That's right.
That's what you have, man. You have the vengeance of the great and mighty God, the great and terrible power, El Shaddai, right? The king of terrors. Right. His vengeance will come upon all his enemies, all those who have touched the apple of his eye. And he will open up those prisons and loose our bonds and save us from this captivity. So long as you keep on enduring and keep striving for that mark of perfection and keep maintaining your integrity. Let the example of the warrior be seared in your minds to constantly endure and give all of your life to serving the Most High God. What? To the best of your ability, right? With all thy heart, with all thy soul, and with all thy mind, serve the Lord. Okay, family? With that, that's the lesson for tonight. Make sure that y'all keep it up with the feast days. All right, we got New Moon coming up this Saturday, rsvpsotfeastday@gmail.com. All right, and we'll tell you where it's being held at. My brothers, email sotisraelites@gmail.com if you want to be a prospect. Likewise with the sisters, email pillarsofrest@gmail.com if you wish to be a prospect. Continue to tap into our Patreon. We have great edification on there. Continue to tap into all of our live classes that we have throughout the week, all right, consistently, okay? Make sure that you send in the emails for your SOT scholars so that they are recognized for their valiant efforts and works that they do through the spirit and power of Yahweh Bashem Mashiach Yahweh Shai. All right? Tonight we investigated the private prison system. Okay? Now you have a better understanding of the wickedness and the devices that these evil creatures use to further oppress you. But you have hope. You have hope and comfort in the Lord, so long as you continue to do what's required of you. Okay, family? With that, we want to bid a mighty shalom to you all. May our beloved brother warrior Ma'aka Allah rise again. We love y'all. Good night. Shalom.
Shalom.
Thank you for watching. If you wish to donate, you can use Zelle or PayPal. We're the Sons of Thunder. It's our heart's prayer and desire for Israel that they might be saved. Shalom.